Okay, hello, welcome to the stream. It's 6/20/2020 Vintage Challenge. We're playing an aggro slanted version of Xerox today. The way I currently feel is that if you're not playing a 4 preordain blue Xerox strategy deck, you're probably doing it wrong in Vintage right now. I think it's the most powerful thing you can be doing. It really pushes out all the other non-bazaar, non-workshop decks. This might not be the best way to go about it. It's just a way I enjoy a little bit more. This is not me's take with some dragons and Scab Clan Berserkers, and you're a bit more aggro than a typical Xerox build. But what changed from me complaining about Hollowvine to now Xerox is dominating all the challenges? I think Xerox players figured out their way to beat Hollowvine, and that's surgical extraction. Hollowvine has very key pieces to it, and if you just take away their squeeze, or you take away their Vengevines or their hollow ones, they have a really hard time winning the game. And so if you just play surgical extraction on their turn to play around force of negation, they have a kind of a hard time countering it, and you have a maybe, I don't know if it's favorable matchup, but it's a better than it used to be kind of matchup. And so with Xerox solving their Hollowvine problem, I don't really see any reason that you wouldn't want to just play a Xerox deck. The big thing that's changed since like the last time I played any kind of Xerox is that Mystic Sanctuary is insane. This card is probably one of the best cards printed in the last couple of years, and that's saying a lot, seeing the other cards printed in the last couple of years. So this card makes it so like you can't fail, right? So as long as you cast spells in the beginning of the game, you're gonna win the top deck war because all your lands are your best spell. So if you Ancestral, you 1/1 or 2/1 or 1/2, your opponent's threats, they have 0 cards, you have 0 cards. Even if you top deck a fetch land, it's still, an Ancestral. This is like a more aggro slanted view of the archetype, but I think it's more fun that way for me, so that's why we're playing it this way. All right, round 1. We've got no lands. This hand's really bad. Lotus is not at its best in this deck. It's okay. I still don't think you're cutting Lotus by any means, but I just like not actually very good. So if we were to say like mulligan this Lotus, we then still have, or like mulligan the Sanctuary, we then have a hand that doesn't do anything, has no cantrips, and only has kind of conditional counter magic. I'm not really thrilled. I think I'd rather go to 5 than take this hand. This is like a much better hand. No permission, obviously, but you just get rid of one of the lands and one of the preordains. Then we have turn 1 Brainstorm with fetch land, or just turn 1 Slam an Arcanist. Depends on what opponent's playing. How is the sound? Is the sound okay, guys? It was looking a little weird in the... Alright, sounds good. Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna try to work on improving the stream a little bit. I have a bunch of new hardware coming in. I have new monitors, new table, a mic stand. Maybe we'll upgrade a mic at some point, but probably post-pandemic because the mic prices are insane. I turned on text-to-speech, but I haven't figured out how to do donations yet. I was trying to make my PayPal account a business account. So I guess what we gotta do here is figure out what's the best play here, and maybe it's just Brainstorm because we've just drawn Shattering Spree, which is typically not very good in the Xerox matchup. But we could also just slam an Arcanist. The downside to slamming an Arcanist is if opponent has a Days or Swords, I guess. And we also lose our ability to Brainstorm with a fetch. So I'm kind of I think I'm just still into Brainstorm with a fetch. It's just like a really powerful play that you don't get to make every game as a Xerox player. Okay, interesting. So I would be interested here in a lot of things. I'd be interested in getting rid of the Shattering Spree, but I still kind of think I want to cast Preordain this turn, and none of the other cards are bad. Kind of like a lot of the other cards. Maybe the Scab Clan Berserker is like the weakest of them because There's just a lot of answers in the opponent's deck, but if it does hit, it's obviously very, very good. It's something I gotta worry about is time. When I play these decks, I think a lot about all the decision trees and talk through them, and then I end up with no time to finish the game. There's maybe a good reason that we're playing the aggro slanted version. I mean, I could just put 2 back and then preordain and this is like just such a waste of a preordain, right? Put 1 bottom and draw 1. But we could do it. It'll be nice to just slam 3 drops every turn for the rest of the game. Maybe that's a fine use. I'm not sure. It's worth noting that this is not my preferred archetype, and it's not my most proficient archetype, so by all means, there will be inefficiencies and mistakes today. Oh, there's a Lotus Petal, so that must mean Breach, so it's keeping the Scab Clan seems really good. Yep, 1 p.m., we're 5 minutes in. Wait, so it's 4-color Breach with a Lavinia, huh? Interesting. Lavinia is annoying because it does stop Dreadhorde Arcanist, but we're also a 4 Pyroblast, 4 Lightning Bolt deck, so. But of course, we've drawn 2 Arcanists. We can bait a block on the Lavinia because they kind of, if they don't have a Lightning Bolt, they have to kill the block the Scab Clan Berserker. I guess they could just have a counter magic, but I think it makes more sense seeing as we don't have any permission in our hand currently. Just the Dreadhorde draw was not very good. I assume this will just get snap blocked here. I can't imagine they would let this get renowned. At least this makes it so our Arcanists are alive and if we would draw Force, maybe it's live. I just can't see us winning this game from the current position. Opponent kept a 7-card Breach hand with a Demonic Tutor, so we're really far behind. This might just be Ancestral, which is annoying because this is the turn before we play Narset. Them not Ancestraling here would be really awkward. We could easily have Pyroblast, yeah. So they're at 6 cards now. They can easily have their own Pyroblast for Narset. Just really bad position to be in. We mulligan into 5 and opponent has an Ancestral, so we're down 3 mana sources and a card in hand. These is just not gonna get the job done. So here you have to choose between Narset and Dreadhorde Arcanist. Narset being the clearly superior card for the matchup, but running right into a possible Pyroblast. Probably a likely Pyroblast, I would assume. Whereas Dreadhorde is a little bit harder to deal with, and we kind of need to find some permission. So I'm kind of leaning towards Dreadhorde representing Pyroblast. You have to get some value off of representing cards here. You're just going to get a Force of Will off that. It's pretty good. You just have to kind of fade an Underworld Breach, and then that's kind of what we have to do. We really don't have any interaction for an Underworld Breach right now. They were willing to counter our Dreadhorde last turn, so I'm going to probably try to resolve a Dreadhorde again. I don't know if maybe we want to ponder, look for a Force of Will for some protection. We can probably do that first to play around maybe Flusterstorm or... Like, these cards don't actually do anything for us. Like, obviously a Pyroblast would be good against, say, some kind of Delve spell from the opponent, but it's not going to stop the real problem, which is if opponent draws Underworld Breach. Which I'm assuming opponent's on Underworld Breach because they have a Lotus Petal. But I actually think I just want to shuffle these away. Gush is kind of interesting. Since we haven't hit our land drop this turn. If they counter this with like a Pyroblast, then we can maybe slam a Narset. Should help. I mean, they just have double Pyroblast. Yeah, okay. I don't know, they have 1 card in hand, so if they just flood, maybe. Yeah, not flooding. We just fell too far behind by mulliganing to 5 and opponent having an ancestral, basically. It was not to shuffle, so I guess we're dead. Oh, lovely. Well, they only have one card in hand, so if we draw like Lightning Bolt, which we put on the bottom, obviously, or we shuffled, that would answer that cleanly. We drew Mystic Sanctuary. I see. There's another cantrip off the top. I mean, it is what it is. These matches can be pretty ancestral dependent. So we no longer answer this cleanly, but they did flood. They'll only have one card in hand, so there's a chance. I don't really know how, even if we bolt our guy now, just another land draw. Well, it does mean we have Brainstorm fetch land, so I should probably just play the fetch land first, right? In case I have some kind of cool mid-combat thing to do. Oh well. So I think I'd like the Lightning Bolt to deal with the Mentor right now, as long as this doesn't get Force Willed, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So Daze is garbage. Mystic Sanctuary is garbage. I assume opponent has no blocks here, and then we have Fetch Preordain. Look for a Lightning Bolt, and then we're pretty good against anything that's not Breach. Anything that's blue, I guess, is a better description. Alright, I'm looking for that Lightning Bolt, please. We found the Lightning Bolt. We also found a Gitaxian Probe to see what their last card is. I'm kind of in for that, actually. I guess the problem with this is if opponent has Pyroblast, but they would have Pyroblast the Brainstorm, I would assume. Oh, they have Flusterstorm. Alright, well, it's really good that we played around that, because now we can untap and bolt on upkeep, though. That will pump everything for one turn. But at least we can pay. I assume they will still Fluster here, turns off our 2 Pyroblasts, and pumps their team and makes a Monk. We can't really deal with like a bunch of monks. 3 monks is kind of a lot, but if we're able to like, I don't know, it's gonna be really hard still. Three monks is a lot. We do get to Dreadhorde and then bolt a monk. If they draw a land here, we only take 4. They drew an Underworld Breach. I don't know why I bother. Okay. I mean, we made great plays, but we could only fade for so long, I guess. We were gonna draw another bolt, which would have stabilized this game. Hilarious. Hilarious. All right, so I'm gonna bring in Scab Clans, and I'm gonna bring in. I guess that's it. You can just take out Shattering Spree. Lightning Bolt is like fine. Spree is kind of garbage. We want a Chandra. I guess that's a question. I think we were about to recover there, but we just needed them to fade. To be fair, like, we faded for a pretty long time as it was, so. I don't really think a Chandra is, like, necessary. What is a non-pyroblastable threat? There is only 61 players, so it's only 6 rounds today. Can't look. I feel like we don't need this many lightning bolts. I don't really think you're supposed to cut Blast, no. They are a base blue deck like all these other decks. Especially when the matchup is pretty ancestral dependent. Not sure why you would cut Blast. You don't have Mental Misstep, so you gotta have Blast. So definitely not jamming. Oh, that makes things interesting. Wow, we have so many choices here. It's probably still just best to play everything in pass and look at end-step Brainstorm, I think. Then we'll have maximum plays on the next turn. Still hold opening Pyroblast this turn. I'd like to be able to jam a Scab Clan next turn, I think. Like a Pyroblast backup, maybe. Gonna be Leovold? No. Oh, sorry, Lavinia? No. Alright, well, I'm definitely down to Brainstorm here. They're gonna Spell Pierce or Fluster. Oh, they're gonna Ancestral in response. Alright, well. They drew their Ancestral. We have a Pyroblast, and it just gets them. Alright, I'll take that. This just resolves too, sure. I think we're a little too early for a cruise, and I don't actually think we want a Dreadhorde yet because of the way we're currently set up. So a Dreadhorde is non-pyroblastable, so it might just be better than a Sprite Dragon. I'm kind of interested in maybe just having Dreadhorde and Scab Clan. Dreadhorde's a lot better because we do have a Virtue Scroll for an Ancestral, maybe. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think I'm willing to get rid of both of them. I don't think, like, I could keep one if I wanted to, but I just don't really think I do. No, so I wanted to keep the land because I think land is pretty important here to continue developing, and we just drew like the best way, right? So now we just have Scab Clan with a Berserker with a Pyroblast backup because we have a land. I definitely wouldn't pitch a land there. I think it's more than enough, and these are our two non-pyroblastable threats. This one's like particularly dasty if opponent doesn't have swords or lightning bolt. Classic anti-PO card. Yeah, nice Mox, 2 damage. It adds up pretty quickly. Is this just gonna be the Mentor too? No. It's gonna be a Braid. It's kind of interesting. I'm surprised that it's in their deck, but I guess if they saw Scab Clan in game 1, they have to kind of respect it. Well, this does put them Pyroblast down, so we have a legitimate chance of Ancestraling. Or I could just Dak Fade in their Pearl. It's kind of gas. The only card they could have is Spell Pierce. I don't think that's better. They missed a land drop last turn as well. I don't really need to plus on my deck anyways. I'd rather just continue advancing our mana so that we can like maybe play all these spells at once. So this is gonna be Blast on our Pyro. Yeah, this is great. I'm super okay with that. Super okay with that. Alright, so I want to play around Fluster a little bit by starting with the scroll, even though, yeah, I just want to start with the scroll. And then I'm going to let this grab Ancestral, and then I'm going to not play Ancestral, I'm going to play the Dreadhorde and have Pyroblast up. And then next turn we have, if they counter our Ancestral, then we just replay our Ancestral, and it doesn't really matter. We're pretty far ahead right now in this game. They have Sanctuary. This card's so insane. But not a huge deal. If they like preordain into it, then we'll just Pyroblast and it'll be fine. So one of the downsides we have to doing this Ancestral on our turn now is that we just have another Abrade. Wow. Okay. I guess they thought maybe I would bring in Null Rods. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think that's like a good play. They have a Pyroblast. I think I'm just supposed to... Huh. I think I'm supposed to cast this. They have a Misstep too. Oh, they have a red Elemental Blast. Okay. So they have one card and they're drawing Ancestral. As long as their last card isn't Flusterstorm or Spell Pierce, I guess, then we'll be fine. Okay, last card in hand. Mentor. Okay. Well, we currently don't have a Lightning Bolt, but we do get to Ancestral, so... yeah, let's just do that. Dragon... Sapphire... Ancestral... It's just like the most powerful vintage shell right now. You just do dumb things. And then Lightning Bolt would be great. And that's not a Lightning Bolt, but that also works. Funny enough, that does actually work. So what we have to do is just dodge our opponent drawing Underworld Breach, right? We did actually hit Mystic Sanctuary here. So we can Merchant Scroll for... I guess we shouldn't do it now. We should just wait. Not cruise. You have to get an instant. Asian, that might do it. They drew Breach. This guy's so good. Fuck. It's so fucked. We'd actually be in pretty good shape if we had a Pyroblast. Because we would have been able to counter the first Ancestral. Now they're just gonna like get 6 cards. If they hit Lotus at all, like it's really bad. If they hit a fetch land, it's really bad too. Because you just, I guess the fetch land's not that bad. He can brick, just 6 cards. That's not helping though. It's so fucked. Just no cards in hand, breach both games. Alright, we got there. Opponent bricked on their draw 8. Opponent bricked on their draw 8. Yeah, there's like a million ways we just die there, right? I just don't think bringing in Null Rods is right. And I really don't like surgicals either. Maybe we can like cut a daze on the play and like do some kind of surgical thing. Maybe that's fine. I don't know about strip mine either, right? What if we just like have 2 surgicals? I don't like surgical, but I think it's probably fine. I'm like kind of down to just cut this strip mine though. It doesn't really, especially on the draw. I just don't think no rod is good. Alright, what do we have here? Lightning Bolt's not great against our opponent, but Force Preordain, 3 land. I think this is fine. Fire Blast, sure. Value to playing. No, I think I just do. Knowing the opponent's deck, I think it's fine to just play the Volk here. Missed a land drop. You love to see it, chat. A misstep, sure. I think I'm down to just Preordain, not Time Walk. I want to get more value off my Time Walk. Delta Pyroblast. How much do I need? How much do I need? I think I'd like to bottom the Delta. I think we'll be up fine on lands here. But I'm interested maybe in having another Pyroblast. I think I'm down for a Pyroblast here. This lets me like Pyroblast a Preordain if they miss a land drop. Another missed. Alright. Crap. Kind of interested in just. Kind of interested in Time Walking now. This might get countered or something, but I don't think I care. Could use a threat. That's a threat. I think I'm pretty down on that. Especially since I have missed up for Pyroblast. I'd like to start threatening them while they have no mana. Alright, so here comes a Pyroblast, I would assume. Which we will just misstep so that we can continue holding open our own Pyroblasts. Like, possible opponent would like go for more, but I mean, this is actually a game where we would have wanted that strip mine, huh? Kind of weird. Alright. So I will, yeah, I'm definitely just gonna Pyroblast that one. I wonder if they've had that since the beginning. Gush? Holy shit, that's a draw. That's fucked up. This deck's dumb. I'm just gonna use the mana floating and lightning bolt and get in there. 2 Pyroblast, a Force of Will. It's not a bad place to be. And then I can rebuy my Gush in 2 turns because Mystic Sanctuary is a fair card. This thing is just clocking. Rip mine of their own. What are you gonna do? Time Walk? That's not happening. Sorry, fam. Got all these Pyroblasts I need to put to good use. Time Walk of my own is lethal. Preordain's probably pretty close too. I don't think I want either of these. I think I'm looking for like more permission, right? Classic more permission right there. So like we have 1 counter spell for their Pyroblast. Not terrible. Alright. I already cast Time Walk? You're right. That's a fact. Dak is a blue card. Eh. It's gonna be really hard for them to play 3 spells in a turn, I would assume. Like, they've already shown us to not have... They don't have a Force of Will. They've already shown that they don't have a Force of Will. Yeah, I see what, like, I see what you're saying, but, like, at the same time... Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's good enough. You're probably right. I think, like, I'm just, like, super... I did kind of forget that we had no time walk. Yeah, okay. I kind of agree. Alright, we're up 1-0. Not bad. Alright, let's see if I can set up... I'm gonna just, like, do a bunch of stream work.